11:23. I'm not 11:23. 21:23. 21, Genesis 21:23. How do you say Genesis in Hebrew? Barshi. All right. That is good. Say that was your first test question tonight. How do you say also in Greek? In Hebrew? Huh? Dom. All right.
I was going to say time beyond.
How do you say and? And. With. All right. And modern Hebrew? Right. Yeah. All right. How about in? In, the preposition in, on the front of a word. We will see that tonight. In or by. Be. All right. 2 or 4. Lament. All right. Lament. See, you got a little bit there. You're learning. From. Man. Man. Or a man on the front of the word. All right. We are ta. Hish Shabia. Le. Be. Be Elohim. See there? There's your be right there. All right. Hina. Him. Kish. Gor. Li. Uni. Yulinini. Yulinek. Hased. Now that Chased, see that's got a little bit. All right. Asher. Basiti. Mika. Ha. Hase. Imadi. Wiham. Haaretz. Asher. Yarta. Ba. All right. Weata. And now, you fence yourself in. You fence yourself in. That's what it means. You swear, you fence yourself in. Masculine singular, Nephal imperfect. You fence yourself in and keep yourself fenced in to me. Ba Elohim. All right? Ba Elohim. It's Ton Theon in the Septuagint. Ton Theon. The God. Here, Hina. All right? By the way, that word swear there comes from Shiva. Shiva. All right? So when you see the word Shiva, it means oath or swear or a covenant or something. Okay? To swear and to fence yourself in. And then Im. That you shall keep on lying. Second person singular, tal, imperfect. You shall keep on lying to me, not that you shall keep on lying to me and my offspring, and to my posterity, and to my ones coming after me. According to kindness, ka chesed, asher, which I have shown to you, you will show with me and with the land which you have pilgrimed or camped in it. In other words, you're not a resident in the land. You're only a passer through. You're only a person that is pilgriming or passing through for the time. This someone lose something?
I don't know why. I'm just trying to see what it is.
That looks like a computer. Let's go
Looks
on.
like some kind of a...
Yes, that's 23. All right. Joshua 2 and 12 and 1 Samuel 24 and verse 21. The word offspring there, the Greek word is sperma, seed. Okay? Eulanini. And then those coming after me, my children, my posterity. And then the word kindness, kased. We're full-time RVers. That's what old Abraham was, full-time RVer. He got to go pull up tent stakes all over the place. His RV was a tent. Wyoming. Abraham. Anoki. Ish Shavia. All right. And he said and kept on saying, Abraham, I fence myself in. I keep on fencing myself in, or I will swear. God, it has almost the same connotation in Hebrew. It means to put yourself in a fence, within a small corral, and you will not go outside of that corral. You will fence yourself in. That's the literal term of it, okay? To fence yourself in. You fence yourself in. You put yourself on a reservation, so to speak, a contained area. You contain what you're going to do. God has contained what He's going to do. He has said, I will do this. There's only one way for God to save mankind, and that's by Jesus Christ. I don't care how good some Buddhist is, they're not going to make it. Because God said you can't. You can only come to God. I don't care how good a Jehovah's Witness is. Period. There are some real good ones. I have met some. There. Quiet down over there a little bit. I don't care how good some Catholic is. And I have known Catholics that you swear up and down that they almost know the Lord. They're very spiritual, but it's more what? Rituals are superstition. Superstition. There's only one way to be saved. Only one way to be saved. 21:25. We hakia Abraham et Abimelech all right, all was upon, see? Otos Ba'er Ha-Mayim Asher Gazelu Abdi Abimelech. Genesis 26 and 15 and 18 and 20 and 22, or 20 through 22 also correspond to this. And reproved, third person masculine singular, F-A-L perfect, and had reproved Abram. All right, the word is alexen in the Greek, in the Septuagint. That means to convict to the point of repentance. All right. And reproved Abraham et Abimelech. All right, Abimelech. Remember what Abimelech means? Avi-Melech. What is it? Father of the king. All right, father of the king. Upon account, odo, account of the account, or the reason, Ba'er, well. Ba'er. That Ba'er is beautiful word. Ba'er. Like Be'er Sheba. All right? Ba'er means an artesian well. You dig a well, but this well flows. It flows. It is a well that has living water in it. It is a flowing well. Okay? Beersheba is a flowing well. Living waters. Page 91, if you look that up in Brown Driver and Briggs. And then it says, Hamayim, the waters, which, Gazelu, had seas, all right, had seas, third person, partial plural, cow perfect, which had seized the slaves of Abde, all right, the slaves of Abimelech, the slaves of Abimelech. And seized, that word seized there means to tear away, to rob, okay, to tear away and to rob. Come from Gazelle. 21:26. We're clipping right along here. Who can say this first one? Cindy, can you say that? Wyoming. Well, you're going to be a Hebrew scholar. What's the next word? Abimelech. Next word. Lo. All right. Yadati. Next one. Me. Asaf. Et. All right. Remember, in biblical Hebrew, it's got a little bit of H on the end. Et, not et. The et. All right. Ha-davar. Hazeh. We-gam. Remember I told you about how do you say also? There it is. This is and also. We-gam. Atah. Lo. He-ga. Dati. He-ga. Ti. Ta. He-ga. Ta. Li. We-gam. Anoki. Lo. Shamati. Theoti. Hayom. All right. And said and kept on saying Abimelech, not I know, and I have known, not I have known, who had done, et is a sign of what? Direct object, page 84, as you see down there. What is the Greek equivalent? Ace. Give me the rule of grammar. Extension or limitation of thought or verbal action. That's the idea of force. It even comes over into Hebrew, so I want you to remember that. In Greek, it is a Greek grammatical idea, but we also have to remember that in Hebrew to some extent. All right? Hadavar, that is the act or the word, the deed. All right? The this, Hazeh, Wigam, and also you, Atah, not made known, you haven't told me, to me, and also I not have heard except this very day, Hayom, Hayom, except this very day. I haven't heard this first person construct singular, cal perfect, not I have heard except DOT. You told me this day. So evidently Abimelech didn't know anything about this, what his servants had done. Is it possible for a king to have a lot of servants out there and them doing things that he doesn't really know sometimes?
Yeah.
That's very possible. We know also that Abimelech feared Abraham a lot, didn't he? Because God had appeared to him, hadn't he? Jehovah had appeared to him in a, what we call a hypnosis or a night hypnosis dream, and talked to him a lot, told him that if he had this prophet of God pray for him, he might not kill him. So he feared him because he had what we call an extraterrestrial visit to God of heaven. All right? Vayik ka Abraham sown. Now see, in modern Hebrew that would be what? Sown. This is sown. This has got how do you say that word? Saute. 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 It's got a T sound in it. Saute. All right. Sown. All right. Yubakar. Wayetan. Lo Abimelech. The law of Abimelech, I should say. Law of Abimelech. Wayik. Retu. She Nehem. Dari. All right. And kept on taking Abraham flocks. All right, probata. Probata means what? That's a Greek word. Probata. This word is sown. This means sheep and goats, little animals. Okay, little animals, little sheep and goats, small ones. All right. Sheep you can get wool from, and goats you can get wool from. Most of those tents over there in the Middle East, all over the Middle East, are black. That's from those black Angora goats. That's the goat hair ones that have been worn. This is what these are. These are goats and sheep. All right? The small livestock, the small domesticated animals. Okay? And then it says, and herds. And these herds here, these are moskus in Greek, and this means, see that word boker in there? Remember what boker means? Boker? Boker. What kind of, these are big animals, but how do they describe a boker? All right? Or a boker. Boker. Remember, the break of day is called boker. It means to plow. These animals are large enough to plow with. The plowing animals. All right, the plowing animals. Get that in your mind. That is the root of these words. I've given you the root of these words all the way back. You can go back to page 133, and it means to plow. All right? To break the ground, to plow. All right? And he kept on giving to Abimelech, and they cut, They cut. That word, Yikretu. Now see that was Karith. Down at the bottom of it, see where it's Karith, Barith, and Karith. This means to cut. All right? To cut. And they cut. Third person, masculine, plural, cow, wow, consecutive, and perfect. They cut. They too. Look at that word. Shinehim. Shinehim. It means two. Shine means to split. To split. And then Shinehim, it too split. And they too, a cutting, a barith. All right? A barith, a cutting. Kai diathento photeroi diathekain is what it says in Greek. And place through they both a covenant. And place through both they a covenant. Now, how did you make a covenant? How did they make a covenant? Abraham, what?
They killed the animals and they walked on the center or something.
Okay, they put out 2 pallets, 2 blankets, 2 rugs, carpets, whatever. They killed animals that could be divided, and they split the animals in 2 and put them on each side. Now they're going to eat these things, you know. And then they walked down in the middle and they hand each other their shoe. Now that sounds really weird, all right? And then also, when a person was swearing by his children, what did they do many times? This is kind of embarrassing, but what did they do? What did Abraham have his slave do? He reached out and touched his male organ and swore by it. Now, we would never do that today. You're not going to do that, but they did that back then because that's where his children came from. Really weird. Real weird customs, but that goes back to this period of time. All right, you have to understand the things that they were doing back then is not what you do today. It would not be considered kosher at all, would it? Not clean, not. Oh, come on. Yes.
When they're through, do they give the shoe back?
No, they keep the shoe.
They
kept the shoe.
So just one or a pair?
They just a shoe.
A shoe.
A hipodio or a thong. What it is back then, it means to bind under. Like slippers. They would take a sole and they put thongs on it and they bind it underneath their foot. That's what their shoes were. All right. If they had socks, they wore them inside. Cindy, you've got a real good example of all of that. Mm-hmm. That's what they did 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago.
See, it's still in style.
They come back, things. Just like, when you lived a long time like me, if you have something 40 or 50 years ago, just hang around, keep it. Don't throw it away because it's going to come back in style. It'll come back in style. It's things go around. Double-breasted suits that they wore back in the 30s and 40s are back in the style. They come back. They go narrow and they go wide. The ties go wide and they go narrow. Just keep them around. You have some of them in style some of the time anyway. All right? 128. All right? Why yachts said. Now that's a lot of words for that little old short Hebrew word. Why yachts said. See that sod hay is doubled also, isn't it? All right. Why yachts said. The yod is doubled and the sod hay is doubled. Why yachts said. Avraham et Sheba. All right. Sheba, Kev, Sot, Hatson, Li, Va, Dehen. All right. And placed and kept on placing Abraham 7 female lambs. Female lambs. The flock. All right, the flock, this means sheep, and these are small ones, apart. He placed them apart, okay? He kept on placing them apart. 7 of them. 7 is number what in the Bible? 7 is number what? Completion and perfection. All right. 1 is the number of what? Unity. 5 is the number of what? Grace. All right. Number of grace. All right, now every one of them, we could go into numerics of Scripture and go through all of these different ones, and maybe I'll do that to up to about 25 to 30 or 40, 50 one of these days. Tell you what all of them are. In the meanwhile, if you want to read about it, go to Bullinger, Numbers in Scripture. Bullinger, Numbers in Scripture. 21:29. Cindy, can you say that one?
No,
Wayomer. All right. Abimelech. All of Aram. See, I may have to get up here and help you one of these days. Mah. All right. Inah. Shiva. Kibasot. Ha'ila. Asher. Hit. Sees. Hit. Sabata. All right. Levadana. All right. And it kept on saying Abimelech unto Abraham, why? What these things 7 female lambs, these which you have placed. Why did you do this? Why have you done this? He didn't know what's going on. All right. Only 1:30. How does this one start off? Wayomer. He. Es. Sheba. All right. Sheba means what? 7. All right. Kib, Sot. Tikah. Miyadi. Va. Ad. Gur. Ye, le eda, ki, ha, forti, et, habael, hazot. All right. And he kept on saying, because 7 female lambs you shall take from my hand, in order that she may become for a witness that I have dug. F, sign of the direct object, habaer, the flowing well. Remember the flowing well? This is living water, flowing water. A dead cistern was something you poured water in, or this is barely seeped in enough to keep water. But this is a strong flowing well. This is an artesian well. Okay? Well, this. Now, this is a witness. Okay? This is a witness. This is my payment. This is my certified letter, my contract, my deed to this well. Okay? That's the reason why I'm doing this. I want to certify. Then we have Beersheba name. All right. Kin all. Or all kin, that is. All kin. Read that one almost backwards. I started reading like Greek. Kara. Lamakom. All right. Hahu. Beer. Sheba. Ki. Sham. Nishbiu. Shanihem. Let's look at this now. All can, because of this, called and kept, or had called, third person singular, cal, perfect, had called, to the place, la makom, to the place, the that, or the this, be'er, which means what? Living water, shiva, all right, shiva, it means an abundance of living water, but also shiva also means what? The oath. Oath. The oath. All right? These words cross over. This is abundance of water, abundance of this water, but also this is the oath. There's Shiva. The well of the oath. The well of the oath. All right? The well of the oath. Because there, now look at this one. Look at the root of this word. It's nishabiu. Look at the root of that now. See that? Shiva. All right, Shiva. Root Shiva. And they swore 2 people, Shinahan. The 2 people swore. 21:32. These words, these names have come all the way down to this day. These names of these places. But you go back in the Bible and you can find out why they were named that originally. Wayik retu. Very. All right, so look at that word very. Beaver. All right. Beaver. All right, or beaver. However you want to say that. Shiva. Wayadam. Abimelech. Euphikol. Sar. Sivaro. Sivao. Sivao. Okay, and then Yashuba. Right? El. Eretz. Philistine. Okay? And they cut a covenant. All right? That's what the word covenant means. To cut. How do you do it? You cut up and divide these animals. You walk in, you have a feast, and you have a party. You have a party commemorating this event. They have each other's shoes. They have sat down and they've had a feast, however long it takes to eat all of these animals up. They have these feasts. By the way, how long did they keep meat after it was cooked? How long did they keep meat? We know that you can, if you go up and kill a deer in the mountains or something like that, you can only keep it so long and then it spoils things. Okay? How long did they keep meat in the Old Testament? When did they supposed to throw it away and burn it up? Just remember this. Just remember this. After 3 days, fish and company stink. 3 days. 3 days. They have to get rid of it after that. In the wintertime, meat will last longer. But if you would cook meat and thoroughly cook the meat, it would last basically 3 days. Okay? 3 days if they thoroughly cook the meat. But in the summertime, of course, it's not going to last as long. But I don't care how greedy you were, how much you didn't want to throw anything away, you threw it away and you burned it up because it became refuse after that. It rots. All right? And they cut a covenant, a cutting in Be'er, the well of living water, Sheva. This abundance and also means what? Sheva means also what? The oath. All right? The oath. That's the oath. And oath means what? To what? To swear, but what does it literally mean? Remember a while ago, I want you to get this idea. To fence yourself in. To fence yourself, to corral yourself. Okay? God swore with oath. If you go back, if you go over into the New Testament, in Ephesians, it talks about God corralling and swearing by Himself and saving our souls. He fenced him. When we call upon the Lord to save our souls, repent of our sins, God is fenced in. He can't ever send anyone to hell. You've been sealed with the Spirit of God. You've been earmarked with His Spirit inside of you. You cannot go to hell after that. That's impossible. There's a lot of people today, though, I want you to understand. There's an old Baptist saying, once saved, always saved. But that has sent a lot of people to hell. A lot of people want fire insurance instead of salvation. A lot of people want to be saved so they won't go to hell, and then they go on and do whatever they want to do in life. That's not salvation. That is just a public profession of faith. It's not something from here. When God touches your soul and your spirit, something happens to the person. Something happens to the person. The person changes. All right? The person changes. And they cut a covenant in Beer-sheba, in the land of the place of the living waters of the oath, and rose up Abimelech and Phicol. Okay, Phicol. Phicol, look at that word, page 810. This is quite a word, this word Phicol. It means a tamarisk tree. It means strong. Sometimes they even translate it as a live oak, but mostly as a tamarisk. And a tamarisk tree is a tree with clusters. Sometimes it's talking about a date palm. Sometimes it's talking about a grapevine. And this tamarisk tree is a tree that has flowers. And if you go back in the when Israel was in the wilderness, God provided what for them? What is it? Remember, what does it mean? The word what is it means what? Manna. Manna means what is it, okay? Try to check it out. Now, there is natural manna in that country over there. In certain parts of the years, these tamarisk trees, they put forth a real sweet gum. A real sweet gum. And they have it, but This was a miracle. A lot of miracles are based upon something that became natural. But, like, for instance, when God provided quail in the wilderness, it was not unusual for God or for quail to come through this area. It wasn't unusual for that to happen. But these were not just little quail. These were great big quail, 2 or 3 times. Well, how many of you know the difference between a quail and a chucker? A chucker is like a little chicken, like about the size of a banty chicken. Okay? And a quail is much smaller. Now, these quail that came into this area out there to feed them, they flew up so high off the ground. God made them fly at that distance so they could knock them down easily. And they came in by the millions, not just 50 or 75. My son and I in Maryland went out to Caritha Plains yesterday, and we went to different places over there. And one place up there, we saw a lot of quail. A couple of different places, we saw a lot of quail. There'd be 30 or 40 quail in a covey. That's a pretty good-sized covey. When I lived in Nevada, when I was a little bitty kid, I had my old rifle that my uncles used to get drunk and shoot the flies off the walls with. I still have that rifle. My grandpa traded whiskey for it through the bootlegger in Oklahoma. That thing's precious to me. All the family heirlooms that I have was traded whiskey for. Skillet that I cook in every day, whiskey was traded for. This old rifle was a .22 rifle. And the chucker were so thick. Where I lived in Fish Lake Valley, you could go up there, and when the coveys would come out, the mountains would move. You could not throw a rock that you did not hit a chucker. I could take a .22 rifle. Now, usually people go shooting quail and things with shotguns, you know. But all we had was a .22. I could just aim that .22 rifle up there, and I'd hit a quail. I didn't have to even shoot it. All I had to do is aim it out there, and I would hit a chucker. I would hit a chucker. Well, this was even thicker than that. This is millions. I mean, there were thousands of them and hundreds up there, but this is millions now. Millions. This is a miracle. This tamarisk tree, they produced some natural manna, but this was enough manna that was produced here out on the ground that it fed millions of people. Millions of people. And rose up Abimelech and Phicol. Phicol means strong. All right? Great, strong. Tamarisk tree, or maybe even a date palm. Something that's very strong. Maybe even an oak. All right? Oak trees produce what? Acorns. If you go up here in the mountains here, the native California, there were over 3,000 tribes of Indians in California. Did you know that? Talk about the confusion of languages. When we talk about the confusion of languages in the Bible, and God confused the languages, the Hamite tribe, were the languages were more confused than all the rest. In California alone, they spoke over 3,000 different languages among the Indian people. And some tribes spoke a feminine language and a masculine language. The women speaking to the men spoke in a certain language. And the men speaking to the men, they spoke in a different language. Right. Very confused languages. All right. Phicol. All right. And he's a Sar. What's Sar mean? Huh? Sar. Well, maybe sergeant came from that word, Tsar. You know? How about the word Tsar in the Russian Tsar? All right. But what does Tsar mean? This is where the word prince comes from. It means prince or commander. And what is it? It's a general. It's somebody that's out there fighting. Sarah. Israel, the one who wrestled or fought with God. Remember, the word, it means to fight. All right? It means a warrior prince. Tasavo, all right, of the army. And return unto the land of the Philistines. All right, who's the Philistines now, by the way? Go back to 10 and verse 14. Genesis 10 and 14. The cities of the Philistines, by the way, were Ekron, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gaza, Gath, and Gerar. These are the Philistine cities. Okay? So, are you over there, Cynthia?
Yes.
Okay, could you read that for me?
Rusum, Ashbelium, from whom came the Philistines, and Caphorim.
Okay, now what does Philistine mean? It comes from Philistia. Philistine means migration. Means to migrate. Okay? Now these Philistines migrated from where? They came from Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim means what?
Egypt.
Egypt, or what does it literally mean? Mitzrayim. What does Mitzrayim mean? This is it.
Something about the water.
It means red mud. It means red banks. In Egypt, there are red banks. I remember when I went back to Pauls Valley, Oklahoma, and visited my family back there. All the land around there is red. It's got a lot of clay, red clay in it. And in Egypt, they have a lot of red clay. Red clay. So this is the land, the Mitzrayim, that is the land of riverbanks, canal banks, and bulwarks, because they have a lot of revolutions over there. Back and forth fighting. And so they put up banks or trenches where they can fight one another. Stand up and shoot an arrow or throw a rock or whatever over these bulwarks. So it means bank, red mud, dikes, all of that. Now these are the descendants of Casluhim, which are it was the sixth son of Mitzrayim, who migrated from Egypt to Canaan, keeping to the seacoast, north of Joppa and south of Gaza. All right, this is the land of the Philistines. They're about 40 miles long and about 10 to 20 miles wide, this land is. This is a very big land, but this is the land of the Philistines. The Philistines. And these also are the people that married into what? And became the what?
So people who came the Hittites,
Oh.
the giants.
The giants, what were they called? The Nephilim. The Nephilim means what? The fallen one. All right, these are the giants. Who was some famous? Remember? The land, Ekron, Ashdod, Askelon, Gaza, Gath, Gath, or Gath. Who lived over in that area? Goliath and all of his buddies. You know? All of these, there were many giants in the Bible. Remember, lots of giants, lots of great big Nephilim. They like Bigfoots of time and old times. The Bigfoots of old. Okay, the Bigfoots of old. Saw Bigfoot one time, like scared me to death. I didn't think they existed at all. I was up there in Fish Lake Valley in the middle of the night, my son and I went out there and took a bath at the hot tub, started coming back, just poking along 5 miles an hour, and I saw somebody walking over there real tall, just about as tall as this roof here that's about to fall in right there. Watch out when you fall underneath that or walk underneath that thing, that can knock you out. Anyway, I saw something walking across there, and I said, well, there's somebody out there that's broke down, and they're coming in for help, and he's coming pretty fast. So I looked out there, and he's coming fast, walking real fast. And as it got closer to the road, I saw that it was very tall, and it was not walking like some normal person. He was not tripping or stumbling or anything. It's just walking like he's floating across the ground. Weird. By the time he hit the lights, I said, ooh. My son looked over there like this, and I looked over there, and And I got up there to where the thing crossed the road, and I said, son, did you see something cross the road right here? He said, what'd you see, Dad? I said, what'd you see? He said, what'd you see? We just kept on going on like that for hours. Finally, after several hours, I finally said, what I saw was Bigfoot that I don't even believe in. That's what I saw too. It's tall, wasn't it? Had hair all over its body, and it was, I said, it had been rolling in the alkali dust out there, and the dust was coming off his hair, and walked across the road like this, and he said, yeah, that's what I saw. I don't believe in them, Dad. And I said, I don't either. I am a believer now. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a Nephilim. I don't know. He wanted to go back and look for it. I said, leave that thing alone, because with that thing came a tremendous sense of terrible power. Have you ever been around somebody that just made you give you the creeps? That you know there was something demonic there? That's the thing. That's what I felt. I felt a horrendous supernatural power that I didn't want to be around, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. You have to realize I was a hunting guide. I had shot wild hogs with a 22 pistol. Been right out there fighting with them. No different from me, just boom, boom, and them snapping and coming after me, and catching wild raccoons and tying them up with clothesline rope and putting them in a dog box alive. Didn't have good sense. My mother used to say, no fear. Didn't have good sense. No natural fear. Then I look back and find out what my great-great-great-grandfather's name was in Chickasaw was for. Ecomedial. Fearless. And then my great-great-grandfather, Samuel Eichert, a modern concoction of the word fearless. Didn't even know what that meant many years ago. It means not good sense. But I'll tell you one thing, when I saw that thing, whatever that thing is, it had a tremendous aura of power that I didn't want to have anything to do with. That may be what these Philistines were. I don't know. I don't know what they were.
Do you think
They were big. What?
Do you think it saw you?
Oh, yeah.
It saw you.
I am one of the most verified Bigfoot witnesses in the United States, according to all of the records. I reported it to the Bigfoot research deal, and I talked to them. They talked to me a lot. They talked to my son. And this is over like 25 or 30 years. They called me back several times. The woman on Monster Quest, did you see that on television? Her name was Kathy something. I talked to her. And then they talked about different ones, and I asked them a lot of questions, talked to her husband. She never saw one. She said, you're lucky, and I said, that's what you think. You see one of them things, and then you tell me you're lucky. I don't want to ever see one again. I don't want to be around one again. She said, well, you're one of the very lucky people. And since I didn't believe in it, and since my son still doesn't believe what he saw, we're very verified witnesses. Not only that, but I was a woodsman. I was out in the woods for years. I know how animals move and what they smell like. I can smell anything that moves in the woods. Is that right, Marilyn?
Yeah.
Before I see it, I can smell it. I'll tell you one thing. Everything shut down when I saw that thing. Everything, my senses all shut down. But maybe that's what these things are. Maybe that's why they were so afraid of them over there. These giants, these Nephilim. All right. 2133. 2133. Wayitah, Eshel, Dever, Sheba, Wayikra, Sham, Bisham. All right. And then we have the word of Jehovah there, which the modern Hebrews call what? Adonai, but we call it Hadavar, which they refer to as the word, the unspeakable word or name. All right, Hashem, or Hadavar, or Adonai. El, Olam. All right. To onoma Kyrios Ionios. That's what it says in Greek, the Septuagint. The name of the Lord God eternal. And And he planted, guess what? A tamarisk, a tamarisk tree in a flowering tree in this flowing well of the oak. All right? The flowing well of the oak. And he kept on calling there Sham, Bishem, in name. All right? Bishem means in name. Remember, that is in name. All right? Of Jehovah, God of eternity. All right. Jeremiah 10 and 10, Habakkuk 1 and 12, Hebrews 13 and 8 are all cross-reference to this. Genesis 12 and 8, Exodus 15, 18, Deuteronomy 32 and verse 40, and Psalm 90 and verse 2, and Psalm 93 and verse 2, and Isaiah 40 and verse 28. Are all cross-references to this. Look at that. That is very beautiful. Jehovah, God eternal. Jehovah, the eternal God. In John 1 and 1, what does it say there? You can cross-reference this to John 1 and 1 also. Remember that? I hope you get tired of that. In arche, ein hologo. In beginning, the absolute extremity of time where nothing else existed except for God. In beginning kept on being what? The Word. Hologo. Hologo. John 1 and 1 is a Hebraism. It is not a Greek idea. That is a Hebraism brought into Greek. Because here we have the unspeakable name of God becoming flesh. John 1:14. Kai hologos sarxagento. And what? Kai and Marilyn was saying that in her sleep the other night. Kai hologos sarxagento. She was. I don't know why she was saying that in her sleep. Kai hologos sarxagento. And the Word and the Jehovah flesh he became and dwelt among us. That's who this is, right here. This is the eternal God. Cross-references to John 1 and 1 and John 1:14. The name of the eternal God. The name of the eternal God. 21 verse 34. 21:34. Who can read that? Why Yagar. That was a little old bitty short Hebrew word for all that English in it. Why Yagar. Avram. Be'eretz. All right. Pelishtim. All right. Pelishtim. Yamim. Rabim. All right. And was a pilgrim, was a camper, and kept on camping, kept on pilgriming, kept on being not a permanent citizen. Abraham, in land. Ba'aretz, look at that word, in land. See that word faith there? That's your preposition in, page 88 and 89. Land is on page 76 in Brown Driver and Drake. And the word Philistines. What's Philistine mean? What does Philistine mean? Huh? Migrators. They migrated from where? Mitzrayim into Philistia. Philistia. What became Philistia. Right there on the coast of the Mediterranean. You're a pretty fair area, by the way. It's really pretty. That Mediterranean Sea is the blue. If you've been there, haven't you? It's pretty, isn't it? That sea is so pretty. The bluest waters of any sea anywhere. And days many. He stayed there days, Yamim, Rabbaim, days many. Rabbaim, many. 22 and verse 1. Do you want to go there or you want to quit? Huh? You ready to quit? Huh? Next chapter. Huh? Yeah, we've got a few more. Okay, you want to do them all tonight? Let's start over here in the 22nd chapter anyway, okay? You want to start? Yes.
Is this
Philistine?
Philistine same as Palestine and that?
Philistine and Palestine, probably from the same root. All right, Philistine and Palestine. It means migrator. Those are the migration. The land of migration, Philistia. All right, 22 and verse 1. Abraham's going to be on trial here. Find out what he's made out of. Abraham will find out what he's made out of. We'll find out what Abraham's made out of. God already knew it. You know, the trials we go through is just for our sake, not for God's sake. God already knows. Why he? Atar. Hadavarim. Ha'eleh. We ha'elahim. Nisah. Et. Avraham. Wayomer. Elah. Avraham. Wayomer. Enini. There used to be a breed of Old English called hennies. All the roosters and hens looked alike. You could hardly tell one from the other. Henini. Wahi. And it became, and I want you to understand one thing, in the book of Genesis, in the first chapter, it comes along there in the King James. It says, anybody got King James there? Wandering around somewhere? Not New King James, Old King James. Well, even the New American Standard, all of them took off with what Old King James said. Genesis 1. Let's look at it for just a minute. While we're looking at this word wahi there, Genesis 1, let's go back. Let's correct a little bit here so you can understand a little better. Wahi means to change from one state to another. It means to change from one thing to another. Okay? In the beginnings, God created the heavens and the earth became formless. The earth, she became formless, changed from one state to the other. And void and darkness became over the faces of the deep, and Spirit God was moving over the faces of the waters. Then God said, let there become light. All right? And light, what does it say there? Was. But that's not what it is. And light became. There was not light before, but light became. And God saw that the light became good, and God separated the light from the darkness, and God called the day, the light day, and the darkness He called night, and there became, look at all these words was there, and there became evening, and there became morning. And then God said, let there be a breathing space in the middle of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. And God made the breathing space and separated the waters which were below, the expanse from the waters which were above, and the breathing space, and it became so. Do you see the difference between was and became? It changed. It changed. That's the word became, okay? And God called the breathing space heaven, and there became evening, and there became morning a second day. Now that's just some of it. All that's became. It not was, it became. It changed from one state to the other. And became, all right. Remember that third person masculine singular, Calwell, consecutive, and perfect. After the things that happened, the hadavarim, the things that happened. Remember the word davar means what? It means word, but what else? It means fence posts and a line. It means soldiers in a line. It means words in a line. It means an account, or an accounting of words, or an event that happened. It means something lined up, okay? The word there, that's what they called Jehovah. the name or the word that they could not speak. They were afraid to ever speak his name after it said, thou shalt not use the Lord thy God's name in vain. They were afraid to say his name. All right? Ha-ele, and the these, and then it says, we ha-Elohim, and the God, he, look at that word. In what tense is that word testing there, or trying? What tense is that? PL. He tried Abraham intensely. Now remember what happened with Abraham. Abraham had a child. He had 3 wives, didn't he? Well, 2 wives at this time. The first wife he had was a Shemite, but she didn't have any babies for a long time. Then he had a Hamite wife, and she produced a baby right off the start, because he could have babies. Sarah could have babies. All right? Abraham had babies. Sarah couldn't. All right? She had this baby, and then God said, and he wanted that baby to be his heir. That's Ishmael, which means what? Ishmael means what? Ishmael. What does Ishmael mean? God hears. God hears. God heard Hagar's prayer. All right? And he named that child Ishmael. God hears. He wanted that child to be his heir. And evidently, something happened. Something happened. Whether it was a homosexual act between those 2 boys or whatever. You look back in the book of Genesis. Back when Noah, Ham went in and said, uncovered his father's nakedness. Now, either he did something to his father homosexually, or else he raped his mother while she was drunk too, as many of the rabbis believe. And when a child saw his mother naked, that was a shame. That was terrible. For a son or a daughter to see the nakedness of their father, many times it meant their wives. Remember what Absalom did? What did Absalom do to David's wife? He uncovered the nakedness of his father. And it was shame, and he did it openly on the rooftop. Uncovered the nakedness of his father. He went in and had sex with his father's wives, which were concubines, but they were his wives. So he uncovered his father's nakedness. Now maybe that's what happened back there, what Ham did. Maybe Canaan was a prodigy of that incestuous product. Maybe. That's what some rabbis say. Or maybe he just did whatever. But now, Abraham, after he's kicked out Ishmael, whatever happened there, whatever he did, we know the same word, to know or to jest is also sexual pleasure. That's the same word. Okay, now he could have done that to Ishmael, could have done that to Isaac. But now he only has Isaac. The other boy is gone. Now he only has Isaac. And now what does God tell him to do? What's the ultimate test here? Offer him as a sacrifice. Offer him as a sacrifice, yes. And the PL stem, that's hard, that's harshness. PL perfect. And he had tested him, had tried him to the nth degree, at Abraham, and he kept on saying unto him, God kept on saying it. Look at that word. He kept on saying. Wyoming. Third person masculine singular child vowel consecutive and perfect. He kept on saying unto him, Abraham, and he said, here I am. Here I am. Here I am. Well, that's enough for today. Is that all right with you? And we'll start next week. We'll at 22 and verse 2. All right. We covered a lot of things tonight.
So, are we not meeting a week from today?
We're going to meet a week from today.
We will.
Yeah, we will be here. Wednesday we won't be here. They told me we can't do that on Wednesday, so we won't. All right. Do you have any questions about any of this? I know I covered a lot of ground tonight.
Christmas Sunday we won't be meeting.
What?
Christmas Sunday we won't be meeting.
I guess we won't be meeting on Christmas, so Christmas night, no. We won't. Because Christmas is on Sunday, and we won't be here Sunday night on that day.
What about New Year's Day?
Huh?
New Year's Day?
I don't know whether they'll let me be on New Year's Day or not. Is that on what, on Sunday? Oh boy. Well, I don't know. Probably not on New Year's Day. We probably won't have a class on New Year's Day. Well, I know, but they probably won't let me do anything on Sunday night.
Oh, we don't have church Sunday night, that's right.
Yeah, so they won't let us be here. They shut the door. They don't want anybody here. All right. Almost every other days of the year, you will see somebody here 7 days a week, but not those days. And they don't have to have guards or anything else, I guess. Maybe they do have guards, but they don't have to have custodians and things to take up and go pick up after or something. All right. Well, thank you for your attention.
Okay.
Yes.
This shot is testing.
What?
This shot.
Say that again.
Testing.
Testing, yes.
Testing this shot.
Yeah. Nisa.
Same with like temptation, like.
Yeah, it's page 650 and 702. We could even go look at that next time if you want to. But on page 650 and page 702 in Kohler and Baumgartner, page 650.
Testing same as temptation.
Assayed him. When you assay something, what do you do? When you assay something, what do you do?
It's like an acid test.
If you check it out, you completely find the components of it. Let's look at that, just page 650. Let me look at that. I can look at that up real quick.
I mean, testing, God tested Abraham is God allowed temptation, which is the same meaning.
It doesn't mean temptation.
Doesn't mean.
No, it doesn't come from temptation. He did not tempt him, but he tested him. He tried him. Here on page 650, it means to test or to try, to assay. It means check out the equipment. To attempt to essay, to try to do a thing, to test, to prove. All right? God tests or proves people. And sometimes, at one time in the Bible, it says it's a trial. It's a proving ground. Testing or proving. It's like a trial. It's like also a trial, like a court trial, where you try to prove where somebody is guilty or innocent. Okay? Page 650. Right there. I'll put that on. There it is. Put that on the camera also. There it be. Excellent. All right. Let's go out and converge upon the world and do something eternal. Brother Don, would you dismiss us in prayer, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, we just come to you and we thank you, Lord, for this time we were able to share studying your word, Lord. And we just ask that you would help us to understand it and to apply it to our lives today, Lord. And we ask that you be with us when we go out into the world, Lord, and protect us and watch over us, Lord, and bring us back safely here next time we meet, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Well, right before I came here, I tried to knock myself out on a hanging flower pot. I thought I broke my neck, almost knocked myself down. I hit it so hard that the flower pot went up in the air and turned upside down and spilled dirt all over me. And I made it through one more trial. One more trial. Huh?
Barbara,
What?
you were looking down.
Well, I was looking down trying to keep from falling in the slick rain and ran right square, and I was moving pretty fast. Ran right square into a hanging flower pot.
Have a nice